Hey, this is Raimu, and this is the recap video for the month of August 2019. It's been about 5 months since I've recorded these recap videos, so I'm way behind. I'm trying to catch up. So there is a little bit of a discrepancy between what's in the background of the game there and what actually we had in August, but I tried to simulate pretty much what we had and sort of highlight some of the new things. As you can see over here, as opposed to July and before, where you could see everything in this field, now the vision is obscured by walls and also lit by torches. So much of the month of August 2019 involved working on the lighting and vision, visibility, obscurity, different words I like to use to describe the systems. They're all tied into the rendering system of the game. A couple other things I worked on in August were adding two-factor authentication and the login with Twitch feature. I also worked a bit on improving the scripts that drive NPCs in the game, although I ended up ditching a lot of that in, I think it was January, February this year, in 2020. So, although I did work on some of the scripting in August, it ended up getting ditched. Although, I guess you can say the lessons learned from the initial effort went into the redoing of the scripts. So anyway, I'm going to play a little bit of the week to week and voiceover commentary as we go. So hope you enjoy. Thanks. All right, here is the first week of August, and I was just implementing lighting and visibility here. So I didn't have lights yet. I just had visibility in form of ambient light and obscurity through barriers. So as I'm walking around here in the test level, you're seeing that the shadows cast by the different barriers based on where we're standing versus where the obstacles are. So this pretty much took me the whole day to do, and I hadn't yet put lighting into the game, although there were lights. We just hadn't implemented them yet. So I had made this special zone called the lighting zone, separate from the other zone where we had NPCs and other things like the lava particle effects, so that I could just have this be just for testing lighting. All right, during the second week of August, I shifted my focus a little bit to trying to improve the scripts for monsters. And I had made these two other areas in the sewers level of the test region of the game. And in the first area, there were orcs. In the second area, there were ogres. So they're designed to be increasing difficulty levels. So I worked on establishing home areas for each of these types of monsters so that they wouldn't wander too far. So I was trying to prevent the orcs here from escaping their little area and encroaching upon the normal sewers area. And later I worked on making it so that when the orcs went too far, they would path back to the center of their spawn area or their home area. But at this point I was still having some bugs. I didn't have the pathfinding in there yet, so the orcs were kind of getting stuck around corners and things like that. But they did generally stick to their home areas, which was pretty cool. So third week of August, I worked on two-factor authentication using time-based one-time passwords. So here you can see that I am generating a secret for an authenticator, and it all uses a standard protocol. You can use it with Google Authenticator or Authy or something like that. So the game will generate a secret and then pop it up and show you both the secret as a string and also the QR code. I think later I got rid of showing the secret as a string. It just shows the QR code, so you're supposed to scan it into your authenticator and enter what one-time password your authenticator generates in order to validate that your authenticator has the correct code. So a lot of this user interface was sort of fluid. At first I had a button in there so that it would show you the code. Later I removed that, so both in the front end and the back end, so that you have to actually use a real authenticator to generate the codes and then use them to validate your authenticator. Once they're set in there, When you log into my game with username and password, it requires that you use your authenticator to get that one-time code and append it to your password. Still haven't gone back and improved that user interface, so it's still a little bit confusing. But we had it functionally working. All right, 4th week of August, I had returned back to working on lighting and visibility in the game, and I had added light sources. Although there were still a lot of bugs, like when you move a light source around, it didn't update the rendering system correctly. We did get basic lighting to work, so the area near the player is lit by ambient vision, so-called ambient light, whereas distant lit areas have to be lit by actual lights. So I had these test lights, those little sparkles that you can see, that are casting light within a radius of 3 tiles, in addition to the ambient, which is I think 2 tiles right here. So as you move around this test level, you could see light or tiles lit by light sources, and as you can see here, there are a few bugs, like the light source can be moved and the tiles lit by it didn't update correctly. But it was a huge improvement over not having light at all, and before that not having any kind of distinction between areas you could see and not see. So in later weeks I perfected the lighting system and worked on its performance and made it faster, but here we're seeing the very beginnings of putting that into the game. Alright, in the last week of August, I worked on adding the login with Twitch feature you can see here. So the idea was, instead of needing to register a password to play the game, you could authenticate through Twitch. Twitch would let you log in, and then Twitch would pass you back a JWT, which you could use in the server for my game to authenticate that you were who you say you were, and that would basically take the place of your password. So it became an alternate login system to the game. I ended up favoring that over built-in passwords because it gave me a sense of who was playing the game. At least I could track it back to who in Twitch is playing. That way, if, for example, someone were to misbehave in the game, I would be able to know who in Twitch that was and then, you know, contact them or know who to ban, that kind of thing. So the login system with Twitch didn't completely work in this last week of August. It took a little bit more work into September, but it eventually became pretty solid. And that wraps it up for the month of August of 2019. And I hope to see you again for the September wrap-up. Thanks for watching, and as always, you can find me on twitch.tv/Raimu8354. Hope to see you on stream soon. Bye.